This is a video review for Transformers Dark of the Moon Voyager class Skyhammer. And this guy has a really nice helicopter mode. It looks really good. You can't tell where any of the robot mode is. And it's just, in general, a very nice figure. It stays together well. The rotor turns really nicely, and I don't know if you can see, but there's even a little bit of an interior to the cockpit. Not much, but just enough of a hint of one to make you think there's one. Now, I do have a love-hate relationship with this figure because the legs, I hate them. They just never seem to work well for me, but and to the degree that it's kind of a big deal for me, but not too bad. Now, to transform this figure, you'll start off by taking the tail, popping it out like this, and forward like this. Split the legs, bring them down, rotate this forward, and forward. Down, forward, forward. Then take the tail, fold it in, and then rotate that whole section up, and that will plug into here and push this white part out. That's one of the things I don't like though, is because it makes it so that grabbing onto any part of the leg solidly will push this out of place. I really dislike these pieces here. Then I'll do the same on the other side. Push it up until it pegs into place. And this is kind of hard to do too, and I don't know why either. There. And fold out the feet, and here's another thing here about the legs. The landing gears here, and there's no place where they comfortably sit. They just kind of are there and just barely manage to be out of the way. So now you have that done, you'll pop these. I need to raise the camera. This guy gets pretty tall. You'll pop these wings down, and then you'll fold them as flush as you can. Then you'll pull these parts out and down, like that. You will rotate this chest piece and split this up here. Push these little pieces in here, and then just start arranging his arms. The way the hands transform is pretty neat. You rotate this all the way out, pull the hand out, and then fold it in, rotate it forward. It's a pretty neat way to displace the hand and store it. So, rotate it out, pull the hand out, and fold it in. Oh yeah, and fold up the landing gear there. And that's most of his robot mode. Next, let's work on the back. What you do is and this is always a little bit tricky. What you do is you fold it so that there are little tabs on his back and little holes on here. You will rotate it up so that those holes go over those tabs. And it's kind of hard to do because the shoulder's getting away. It's a very finicky process. It's just, that's one problem with this guy's transformation. It's hard to make sure everything's out of the way. Fold these down and fold these up. And then bring the shoulders back down. And now what you have to do is, see this on his chest? Kind of ugly, right? what happens with it is actually pretty neat. You push it in, and then you start folding it back over his shoulders. So, and that's a genius way to get rid of a helicopter's rotor without having it just like hanging off his back. And then the blades will tab into this backpack here, so it's not like these are just hanging free either. So I really like this part of this figure. It's pretty smart. So now we have Skyhammer in robot mode. And it's a good looking robot mode. Well, I mean, aside from the hip landing gear, which I just can't stand. It's a really nice looking robot mode. He has nice proportions, a nice, so somewhat unpainted head sculpt, and nice colors. I mean, when you see him in packaging, he doesn't look quite this good. He looks more drab and white, but once he's out of the package and light's really reflecting off of him, it's really sort of it's a dark pearlescent blue, and the white's not quite so pronounced, so it doesn't look like it's unpainted, and the gray's a nice color too. And also when he's in the package, the head sort of drowns everything else out, because everything else is sort of covered by the packaging. Now as far as articulation goes, he has really nice shoulders. He goes up and down here, forward and back. In here, he has a bicep swivel and 90 degrees at the elbow. His head can turn left and right and look up and down. It's on a ball joint, a somewhat limited ball joint though. His legs go forward, back, out, and his knees can go 90 degrees. He does not have a mid-thigh swivel, but he does have a mid-shin swivel. And you can pose his toes and heel a little bit as you need. Now the big problem I have with his legs is that there's that joint and it never clicks anywhere, so if I'm turning out his leg, I'm just as likely to bend that joint up, and that pisses me off. He also has a waist swivel. So, he has a nice design, he just has some unfortunate flaws. I mean, like, he's a really nice design. He has a bit crowded, but a really well done transformation otherwise. A nice aesthetic, and yeah, it's just those legs that I can't stand. So if you think you can deal with the legs, by all means get this figure. But if you sort of have the same opinion on them as I do, I would still get him, but it's better to go in knowing that there's something like this that might piss you off. Oh, and the other thing is that this mid-shin swivel is at an odd cut, so it doesn't quite go how you would want, and it kind of gives the impression that his leg is bent in, and just, I don't know, it's awkward. It's, once he's standing, it's fine, and he can pose pretty well. It's just, I know I'm going on and on about this. It's just hard to explain exactly how it's off. But it is off, and it is kind of a big deal. After this, I'm just going to continue rambling about the legs, so I'm just going to cut this short here. Thanks for watching.